Well, the first domino has fallen, and it couldn't happen to a more horrible person. The Matt Gaetz AG nomination is dead. They're eating the cats. You know what I'm talking about. It's over. And Trump, humiliated, and will now try to save face and come up with someone even worse to fill the job. CNN exclusively reporting. Ethics Committee told of second sexual encounter between Matt Gaetz and 17-year-old at a party. This is not the first 17-year-old Matt Gaetz has been accused of engaging in sexual contact with, but the second one. It's all imploding, and Matt Gaetz asked to comment on this by CNN and responded by saying, I will be stepping down from the nominated position in which I find myself. In a sense, it's almost like the investigative reporting from CNN was the last straw, and Trump posting to Truth Central about this with a completely kind of nothing statement. Trump said, quote, Trump or whoever wrote this said, quote, I greatly appreciate the recent efforts of Matt Gaetz in seeking approval to be Attorney General, which is funny because he didn't really do much to seek the approval. If anything, most of his actions got him further from approval. He was doing very well, but at the same time did not want to be a distraction for the administration, for which he has much respect. Matt has a wonderful future, and I look forward to watching all of the great things that he will do. So a number of different questions here. Question number one, will Ron DeSantis now appoint Matt Gaetz to the Senate to fill the seat vacated by Senator Marco Rubio because Rubio was nominated by Trump to be Secretary of State? That's question number one. Question number two, a more interesting question, more theoretical. Honestly, was it all a surprise? And what I mean by that is, to many of us, within 15 seconds of Matt Gaetz being nominated, we were saying, how on earth can this guy get confirmed? Within half an hour, you had a couple Republicans saying, I'll do whatever Trump wants, but you had a couple Republicans saying, this is not seeming like the right direction. Wasn't it obvious that this wouldn't work? And then the question becomes, did Trump select Gaetz originally knowing that it wouldn't work, or did Trump genuinely think they were going to be able to get this through? The counterpoint is, was this meant to be someone so outrageous who sucks up all of the attention so everybody else now skates by? The counterpoint would be, if that was the plan, Pete Hegseth is now in a bundle of trouble with his nomination. He may be the next to fall. The Trump transition team is already dropping little hints. We had no idea about this allegation. We had no idea that Hegseth had this particular report about the incident in Monterey, California. We were blindsided by all of it. They are preparing to completely throw Hegseth underneath a bus or a train. So if the idea was make one kooky nomination so that it'll get all the attention and everybody else gets confirmed, that doesn't seem like it's working either. Now, here's a funny little side note. Republican Congressman Jason Smith appeared on Fox News with Neil Cavuto and said he actually thinks that this reminds me of a Seinfeld episode. Remember the whole thing where George Costanza quits and then he goes back in the next day like it never happened and just pretends it was a joke, which is based on something that happened to Larry David. Larry David has told the story where he was like, I told off my boss and then I completely regretted it. I just went in the next day and said, that was just a joke. Jason Smith seems to be suggesting that because the House is not currently in session, Matt Gaetz saying that he's resigning from the House doesn't really do anything until he does something more formal. It's the wildest technicality, but the point is Jason Smith is acting like Gaetz can just show up to the new Congress. Take a listen to this.
I know this was a Senate matter taking up these cabinet choices of the president-elect, but Matt Gaetz, as you know, your colleague from Florida, stepped out of this contest. I don't know what he's going to do. Could he conceivably return to the House?
Oh, I think so, Neil, because I think it's hard to resign from a Congress that isn't in session yet.
It's like a relationship you can't get out of.
And that's the 119th Congress, which he's been elected to. So I think that in order for
one of the best signs that this is very weak is that even Jason Smith is using upspeak where everything is a question. This is a Congress that he was elected to Really, Jason, who are you asking? It sounds like you're asking rather than telling.
Speaker to accept a resignation, it's probably going to have to be the speaker that's elected in the 119th. Mike Johnson will be the speaker in the 119th, but we're currently in the 118th. So anything's possible. This is Washington, Mill. Expect the unexpected. That's how I look at it.
I guess the better argument, no, I'm sorry, not better. These are crazy arguments, but more accurately, I think what Jason Smith might be saying is, oh, Matt Gaetz resigned from the 118th Congress, but he was elected to the 119th, and therefore he can just show up on January whatever and take the oath. The counter to this is that in his resignation letter, Gaetz says, I will not be taking the oath for the 119th Congress. So listen, I don't deny for a second that MAGA Mike Johnson might allow it to happen. Matt Gaetz will just, he'll call one of those companies like it never even happened. They'll clean up the mess. And resignation letter, we don't know anything about a resignation letter. It may be the case that Matt Gaetz does show up and tries to continue being a member of the House. If that's the case, we absolutely need that damn ethics report. That's for sure. And then finally, who now for Attorney General? It's not easy to find someone worse or less qualified than Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. But if there's one thing Trump knows how to do, it's find the absolute worst people. So if I have confidence in Trump to do anything, it's find someone equally appalling for Attorney General. We will see. Data brokers are continually collecting extensive details about your online behavior, address, phone number, email, financial information, even political views. This sensitive information about you can easily be found on public data search sites by anybody, could be an ex, could be an employer, and these brokers sell the data to other businesses and even government agencies like the FBI and NSA, who can buy it in bulk to surveil Americans without a search warrant. Scammers and spammers also get your details from these lists, and that's why you get the text messages and the calls and the emails. But you can stop it. Our sponsor, Incogni, will send removal requests to data brokers who are legally obligated to comply. If any of your information remains online, Incogni will follow up and ensure that it's taken down. Incogni keeps you informed every step of the way, and it just saves you countless hours of work that would be nearly impossible to do on your own. I use Incogni, and what they've managed to do is remarkable. Go to incogni.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for 60% off. The link is below.